What's happening today? How are we feeling?
You're in for a shock.
In for a shock.
Yeah.
Microphone.
On Thursday, we found out that the planning had been refused.
We actually disagree with most of the reasons that were given.
And there's a snippet of the internal door. We've gone for the natural oak.
Spotlight on how nice the doors are. This is the ensuite that's pissed me off the most.
Alysha, over to you.
I want to fucking kill her.
HMO property investing is not an easy feat. Today we're on episode 3, Akash and Alysha. If you haven't seen the videos from before, I'm going to leave a link above to the previous episodes. I believe we are on week 8. We're basically coming through, making sure the build is going to plan. I've seen a sneak peek, but I've not seen the whole property. We discuss planning, we discuss lessons learned, we discuss mistakes. Let's go on into the property and see what these guys have really been up to.
Hello!
Hi.
Back again. Back again.
How are we doing?
Alysha. So guys, what's happening today? How are we feeling?
You're in for a shock.
In for a shock.
Yeah.
Massive shot. After you.
So I can see we are in bedroom 1. There is some developments, but I'll let Akash take us through.
Stating the obvious, the full room's been plastered. The ensuite is all installed inside, so we've got the toilet, the sink, the radiators, full shower unit, as you can see.
Yep.
We've gone for a matte black finish on them. The trims are all matte black, and the first mist coat in there is also been done, and we've got the tiles in there as well. So yeah, massive updates since the last time you were here.
Aside from this room, what's the biggest changes in the whole property?
The biggest changes, wow. I feel like the whole house has transformed since the last video. The built-in have been on absolute smoke, to be honest with you. You'll see on the top floor, the mist coat has took place. All of the internal doors and the top floor and the first floor are in, and there's a snippet of the internal door. We've gone for the natural oak. That's about it, to be honest with you.
We won't waste too much time in here. Let's go through the next room. I guess Alysha, you take us through that one. We are in a plastered kitchen / open plan living space. Alysha, I'll let you talk us through developments and how this has been.
So we have actually finalised the kitchen design now, so that's been ordered. We were going to bring the kitchen out and do a peninsula here and the little living space there, but instead we've been able to work out more cupboard space, more space for appliances if we're just going straight wall to wall, which will then just open the space up a lot more. And yeah, just waiting for the kitchen to arrive and decorate.
So on that change in the kitchen layout, just take us through how you got to that. Was that yourself? Was it the kitchen designers?
A mix of both, really. So the main issue was, because it's a 7-bedroom HMO, we need to provide 2 sinks, and because there was only a limited amount of space here, one of the sinks was going to have to be in the peninsula, and it just looked really weird. And if you think about the functionality of a kitchen, you're probably going to be using the peninsula to chop all your veg rather than actually washing your dishes right in the middle of the kitchen. So we could get a lot more cupboard space as well, because it's going along the full walls. Whereas if we had a peninsula and then just put a cupboard in that corner there, it would have looked really weird.
Another thing is, I remember last time we mentioned, if you've seen last video, we spoke about the window and having to move the height of it, so I can see the new windows in.
That's a new window, and the HMO planning officer was fine with it as well, because we're going to have a door there, so that means that there's enough ventilation. And there was no way that she could argue with it, because if the window opening was going to be here at the bottom, then it would have been eye level with people walking the street, so it was a danger to pedestrians.
So in terms of the project on a whole, since the last video, what things have been annoying, what things haven't gone to plan? Is there anything? Talk us through it.
So one thing that's really been bugging me is that in a couple of the bathrooms, to fit a decent sized sink, toilet and shower, your bathroom has to be 1 metre wide. The standard in HMOs, you go for 2 to 3 metre squared ensuite. So we've gone for two square metres, so it's supposed to be 1 metre by 1 metre. But in a couple of the ensuites, the width of them is 800 or 900. And there was actually no need in the rooms and the sizes that we've got for it to be like that. In one of the ensuites, we've had to compromise on the size of the shower, so that's a bit smaller. In another one of the ensuites, the tenant's just going to have a really tiny sink. But it's my biggest bugbear, because I think, as a girl, washing my face, doing all my skincare and stuff at night, I don't want a tiny little sink.
Just shows again, you wasn't to know until you made that problem, and we're here sharing it with others so that they don't make the same mistake. We spoke about lead pipes and planning. Quickly touch on those 2 points as well.
Our builders, about a month or so ago, they were really proactive in testing the water pressure before they started to install the ensuites, and we have a really low water pressure in this area. And when they took a look at the pipe, they were made out of lead, which is like a really old way of building pipe systems. Even some of the plumbers on site that have been plumbers for like 30 years have never used that in their career. The circumference of them is really small, so there's not enough space to like pump the house with water. Even if it was just like a residential with 2 people in it, like the showers are just going to be like spitting rain. Yeah, just dribbling on them. So with United Utilities, our water provider, we've had to go on a lead replacement scheme. If they can't fix that for us, then we're going to have to install another water tank. But water tanks can actually take up quite a bit of space in your property, and obviously we've got this far in the build, so we might have to put it outside of the property and almost build like a small extension to close it off.
It's funny because I had the exact same one in my HMO. I think it's just the age of the building and the kind of area, so you can get it done. It was also United Utilities, and they just come, I think you have to have a plumber or someone dig outside, and then they do the connection in the street. They will do it. It's just time. It doesn't take too long, but as long as they're on it now. Have you put the application in? Is that all done?
Yeah.
Perfect. So it'll happen. Yeah.
Yeah.
Accepted.
Okay, perfect. Next is bedroom 2, which I'm excited to see because I see there's a lot of changes with the door. Let's go to bedroom 2. So I've realized, Akash, this bedroom 2 has come a lot further than I thought it would. Can you take us through what's happened?
When our builders were initially planning the timber work for the opening of the room, they actually realized that we can actually come a little bit further out.
Yeah.
So the builder was really proactive. He called me and said, look, we can probably get about another half a meter if we bring it out even more. I was like, absolutely perfect, because the more room we can have in the bedroom, the better, right? That room has actually gone from a 10 square meter room to approximately about 12 square meter now. Created so much more space in there, and as you will see in a second, you'll be pleasantly surprised with how big that space actually is now.
Perfect, let's go on in. So obviously we are in the room now. You guys will see in a second, this room has completely transformed. Crazy, because before it was like a kitchen. We can see there is an ensuite, it's been tiled. The underside of the stairs is there, but it doesn't really feel like there was a staircase there. I can see how this is coming together as a bedroom. The lighting isn't the best in here now, but it's because the window is boarded. But once that is open, the glass is in, it will let so much light into the space. Is there anything you want to take us through with the room layout?
You're pushing that door out a little bit further. That's opened up the space, but also because a lot of the space is actually under the stairs, even though it's not classed as usable space by the council, because anything below 1.5 metres doesn't count. But obviously for an actual tenant, like, that is a lot of extra storage space and just makes it feel a bit bigger. This is the ensuite that's pissed me off the most. So if you were to have a normal sized sink here and then a toilet in that corner, then there's not enough space for the tenant to comfortably get past the sink to actually sit on the toilet. So we've had to compromise on the size of the sink. So I think the sink is only about, I want to say 300 millimeters in depth, which obviously as a girl or just anyone in general, it's just not the ideal situation for them. So there was no need for that hiccup to happen, or like that lack of space, because there's plenty of space in the bedroom for that wall to just move out slightly to allow like enough space for a proper bathroom suite.
Question, guys, in terms of the space, now you've got this layout set in stone, I guess. Is there any changes you would make to this room?
Yeah, absolutely. Because we've gained a lot of space near the door area. If we were to redo this again, redesign, I would actually move the ensuite to go underneath the stairs, because there's more than enough space over there. And then that would just mean that all this space is opened up, and then there actually wouldn't be any need for an awkward shaped ensuite, if that makes sense.
And then what's the plan furniture-wise?
The bed in this corner here, headboard there, feet this way. We're either going to have the desk in that corner there, or we're going to have the desk over there somewhere. We've got a very intricate little space there, haven't we, Alysha?
It's like a recess.
Yeah. So we want to do something smart with that space. We're just unsure what we're going to do with that yet. Wardrobe will go somewhere over there now, because we've got so much head height there. We've got so much space. TV is going on the wall there. It's going to go on a little angle, so it's perfect viewing from the bed.
We've spoken to a few lettings agents, getting numbers from them and things like that, and in their experience, even when landlords have pulled out all the stops in providing TVs, a lot of tenants just like to bring their own. So we've actually decided now that we'll provide a bit like an itinerary of things that we are happy to provide, such as a TV, duvet, pillows, etc. But obviously if the tenant has their own, then they can just bring their own, and then that will save our costs, and then obviously space for the tenants as well. So we'll provide the TV mounts, but not the actual TV unless they want us to.
This is something that you'll always find different developers talk about, provide TVs or not providing TVs. I guess a question for you guys in the comments, if you was moving into a room as a HMO, would you likely bring your own TV or expect the landlord to provide a TV? So bedroom 2, changed. Love the progress on this one. Let's go upstairs, which I'm expecting to see a lot more progress. From last video, you guys remember the build team are starting from upstairs and working their way down. That's why downstairs looks a bit more like a building site, but hopefully you'll see the progression, the development upstairs. Let's head on up. So bedroom number 3, if you remember last time, this was a bathroom. Take us through the updates.
In the original plans for the 6-bed HMO, this was actually going to be a living room, but obviously we decided to put a planning application in for the 7th bed for a Sui-Generis status, which means that, you know, we would have to do a full planning application. You can go to up to 6 bed under permitted development, but anything above 6 bed you need full planning application for. And unfortunately, on Thursday we found out that the planning has been refused.
Oh,
yeah. One massive lesson for anyone is to make sure that you do your numbers on worst case scenario. Yeah. We made sure that this deal still stacked on a 6th bed, and we kind of went into this deal knowing that the 7th bed may get rejected because the reputation that the head of planning in Tameside has got is that, yeah, he's not a massive advocate of HMOs.
We actually disagree with most of the reasons that were given. So the main reason that they've declined is because they don't believe that there's enough shared facility or enough space in the house to house 7 tenants. The first point that they made was that the house is 117 square metres, which isn't true. This property is actually 150 square metres, so it's way above what the national recommendation is for a 7-bedroom HMO. What they've done is add up the total square metres from each bedroom rather than considering like the hall space, the kitchen space, wall-to-wall measurements. They also made reference quite a few times in their comments to it's not enough space to house 9 people. The way that we're interpreting that is that they've looked at the space in some of the rooms and thought, oh, that's a double room, they must be putting 2 tenants in there, rather than taking into account that it's going to be single occupancy
in each room.
Each room.
The other thing that they mentioned in the report was that the kitchen had to be 22 square metres. Whereas ours is 20 square metres. I don't know where they've got the number 22 from, because in the HMO guidelines for Tameside, it says 20 square metres. So God knows where they're pulling these numbers from.
How frustrating.
Another thing that they've put down is that some of the rooms are 10.2 square metres and they actually should be 11.5 square metres, which isn't what the council's guidelines say. So we think that they've taken the national recommendation rather than the council's actual recommendation.
Even though they're from the council.
Yeah. But the challenge that we're going to have on our hands now, once a planning application goes to public refusal, then you have to make a material change to the build to be able to resubmit. So we're going to have to spend some money or make some changes within the property, even though we're already at this stage, to actually be able to resubmit for the seventh bedroom.
So pause. Even though the things you've listed are clear errors, you can't appeal that decision without doing a material change.
So there's a difference between an appeal and a resubmission. An appeal, you keep all the plans you save, but it's a much longer process to go through. So on average, it takes about 9 months. So we've heard. Whereas a resubmission would take 2 to 3 months. And with the resubmission, it's new plans.
What is your plan to go resubmission route?
We don't know yet. So we have explored just turning this room into a co-working space, do like a nice backdrop, funky artwork and stuff like that. But the lettings agents that we've been speaking to have said that's not going to give us any increase in the rent on the 6 bedrooms. It might attract a tenant to the property, but it won't attract higher rents. And the reality is when landlords are providing cinema rooms, games rooms, co-working spaces, a lot of the time they just don't get used. And actually it's much better as a cash flowing asset for the landlord.
You see a lot of these things on Instagram, shiny cinema rooms, but I guess sometimes the space can't be used for anything else and just accepting that it's not going to get used.
One thing I would do if I could go back is just get a lot closer to the case officer that's taken on our planning application. We knew that he had a reputation in the market for not liking HMOs, and we had tried to contact him a few times with no response. But if I could go back, I would try so much harder. And one thing that I did learn was that a lot of planning officers in other councils, before they allow a planning application to go to public refusal, they'll let the applicants know like the reasons why they would refuse that and give them an opportunity to make some changes or to discuss those points or just get more information on why those decisions have been made. But yeah, in this case, I assume because he's got no relationship with us, he's got no interest in allowing more HMOs to come into the area, then yeah, it's just gone straight to public refusal. Whereas other developers, like, they'll have an idea that it's going to go to refusal and they can make some tweaks or discuss it before they get to that point.
That's such a great point. Again, lessons learned, you only know this from going through it. So again, guys, take that advice. If you do have a plan application in, try and get close to the local department who's working on it. Question, you've got your next still going through conveyance already. These guys are killing it, by the way. Is your next one a 7-bed, 6-bed?
6-bed. Permitted development.
Hey, fantastic. Okay, so that way it just goes through. They can't say anything. As long as you meet the measurements, they have to sign it off. Ha ha ha. Move on to the next one.
Yeah.
Amazing. So that's bedroom number 3. Let's go into bedroom number 4 to see the progress in that one as well. I love this room, by the way.
My eyes are ready in there.
Yeah, the white does so much. So bedroom number 4, I came in here and like blinded. It's so bright. The window's so big.
Yeah, the updates are very, very clear. The new radiators in. We're still waiting for the new windows to be delivered and installed. Internal doors are both in. All the electrics have been done. Obviously, it's been painted. It's really, really bright.
What's the plan window? Are you doing, you're not doing the window, but you're just putting new windows in with toughened glass?
Yeah, toughened glass.
So still same size, just the glass itself is changed.
And we'll be having frosted about halfway up for a bit of privacy, yeah.
In terms of new property investors, so these kind of videos, a lot of people that are trying to get into HMOs will be watching this, hopefully getting some inspiration from inspirational people like yourselves. What advice would you give to someone looking to get into what you're doing?
Before you obviously do anything, you got to understand why you're doing it. And for us, it was to have that financial freedom, that time freedom, and that location freedom. My advice for other investors would be just to dive straight in. Go head first. Don't let anyone tell you otherwise, because we've had so many comments from other developers, other friends, just general people in the industry who we've met at networking events, and you know, they've been really surprised that we've gone straight into HMOs as our first project instead of warming ourselves up into the standard vanilla buy-to-lets, etc. But we knew what our goals were. HMOs were going to get us to that goal the quickest.
When you say diving straight in, could you expand on that? What does that mean? Are you talking podcasts, getting educated?
Ultimately, we didn't know anything about HMOs before we got started, really. So we invested our time into our education. We got stuck into that. Started meeting new people in the industry, such as yourself, Fraz, other developers, where, you know, we can build strong relationships with.
I 100% agree with what Akash has said, because I met these two as well as a few other developers through YouTube, through social media. We basically become good mates now. We're cheering each other on. Any problems we have, we're sharing consultants. So adding to what Akash has said, I would say get around people who are trying to do what you're doing, either ahead of you, same level, and network and just kind of build each other up together. Because whilst these guys are part of a wider group, property mastermind, whatever, I have my links. We're both kind of open books. If they've got a consultant they recommend, they share to me, vice versa. And we're all trying to do the same thing. So yeah, I definitely agree with what you said. Just dive in and don't let anyone tell you otherwise. Have your goal, get focused and locked in on it. It worked.
The other thing is, like, just don't be afraid to like make mistakes, because that's the only way you're going to learn as well. There's only so much reading, watching YouTube videos, etc. you can do. But as we found out, Alysha, that no matter how much you try and learn, etc., there's going to be so many mistakes that you make when it actually comes to doing it.
What's that term? Analysis paralysis? Look at everything, you just don't move anywhere. It just that's what it is. So yeah, 100%. Cool. We're going to do bedroom number 5. Bedroom number 5, again, very white, very blinding, very fresh. I see we have some beautiful doors in. Alysha, take us through this amazing space.
Main things in here, next to the ensuite, obviously we've got like this awkward space. So we're going to get a joiner to come in and fit a custom built wardrobe frame there. So it'll have like the poles across for the tenants' clothes, and that'll be nice and flush against the wall. And then we can do like a nice little desk and storage area underneath the stairs. Last time you were here, you were asking about the acoustics. Yes. The builders were already one step ahead. They've already sorted that for us.
So just for everyone who hasn't seen the last video, before the wooden staircase was in, and as you know, if you go upstairs, if someone's in this room, you might hear the hollow sound on the stairs. So I just asked Alysha what their plans is for that. We might do a sound test in a second and see.
But there's no floor in yet.
Yeah, there's no flooring yet, so it might still be a bit hollow.
Also, Alysha, I remember last video you mentioned carpets and not liking carpets. What's the plan for flooring in the bedroom?
Still going with carpets, a greige, like in between grey and beige.
Okay, yeah.
I think like harsh grey is kind of out. HMOs are known for like white walls,
Great.
grey carpets, cheaper chrome finishes. I know everything's looking really white at the moment, but this is just a priming coat on top of the plastering. Obviously we'll decorate properly, but yeah, we're gonna go with carpets.
No, there's stuff in it ensuite. You want to take us through what's happening there?
Of course, just a spotlight on how nice the doors are.
And they make it look really fresh as well. So
Yeah.
was that your interior design decision?
Of course.
Fantastic, great choice.
In this ensuite, we actually had to compromise on the size of the shower because the depth is only like 800 to 900 millimeters. So it was either we had to compromise on the space, on the size of the shower, or compromise on the size of the sink. But we've gone with a normal size sink. So that's all tiled now, all primed. Radiators are in. Yeah, we just need to get a mirror and things like that in there. Kelvin, getting that shower. It's quite small, isn't it?
It's all right though.
It's not too small at all, because when someone's used to this, they're just used to getting in and out, and it just becomes way of life. Okay, we're gonna go head upstairs into bedroom number 6 and 7. Let's go straight up in there. I'm looking forward to seeing that space. Let's
go.
So bedroom number 6, we are back up in the loft. The space is very bright. It's a lot bigger than I thought it would be. I like how there's 2 eaves and it's all creating space. Take us through this one, Akash.
Not much has changed in terms of the layout, etc. I know in the last video we discussed that we were going to be changing the ensuite to an off-suite, which has actually now taken place. I'll take you through that shortly. But in terms of the layouts in this room, we're going to have the bed over here, the TV bracket here, so it's going to be a really, really cozy space. Instead of having a single standing wardrobe here, we're actually going to get custom built wardrobes underneath the eaves of the roof. The joiner's actually coming out on Tuesday to do all the measurements, etc.
What helped drive that decision from changing the wardrobe to freestanding to built-in? Like, why did you make that decision?
I think we wanted just to maximise the space. I felt if we put a freestanding wardrobe there, we were still going to have a lot of space in the back that wasn't going to get used necessarily.
We'd also had that feedback from, so our finance broker came to visit the property, Jamie. Yeah. Obviously he's got a lot of experience with dealing with HMO clients.
Shout out Jamie, their finance.
Yeah. And he said like they just last so much longer, and like you just get so much more out of the room. And the lettings agent pretty much said the exact same thing. Yeah. It's expensive though.
Again, it shows these guys are doing the research. They're not just cutting corners because a freestanding wardrobe does the job. They want to provide the best product for the market, even going to a further extent, speaking to the broker who is doing business in the area day in, day out. They're speaking to agents. It's not even ready yet, but they're getting ahead. They're showing people that they want to produce the best product, and that's what it's going to be. So like, again, very well done. Let's quickly go through and see the off-suite.
It's going to be a tricky lighting in here, so I'm going to put a flash on. As we discussed in the last video, we were going to be putting one of the water tankers in here. So that's actually gone behind this fireproof board. Toilets in, sinks in, and a massive showers in as well. This off-suite's actually probably one of the biggest bathrooms that we've got in the whole property. So the advantage of having at least one off-suite in the property is that if any other tenants ensuite does have any issues, they've still got another bathroom that they could potentially use in an event of an emergency.
So Akash has just taken us through the off-suite. We're going to quickly go to bedroom number 7, where Alysha will take us through the last and final room. Let's go.
In this bedroom, as you come in, this space will be used almost like a dressing area. Like this is where all the furniture will go. So again, we're going to get custom built furniture. It is pretty expensive. So like a joiner's day rate when they're doing it, it's roughly like £700 per day, but they will stand the test of time. Obviously we've got the ensuite here, got loads of space in here, bigger bathroom, probably suitable for a woman. Little shower. Obviously we'll put a mirror on the wall there, and that's pretty much it for this one. So we're going to have the bed against this wall. We're going to have like a little wall lamp next to the bed as well. TV facing the bed. And yeah, with the eaves and stuff, we just think this will be quite a cozy space. We're thinking when we come to stage the property, we might do like, you know, like industrial style fairy lights coming along the beams, and like just create a whole vibe in here really.
Alysha, Akash, thank you so much for taking us through. I love the size of the ensuite and the off-suite up here. The last episode 2, I asked you guys about working together. I feel like I have to ask you again. Reason being is because the planning stuff has come in, a lot of stuff has changed. How has it been? Akash, I'll start with you, mate.
I think it's been absolutely fine, to be honest with you. Plain sailing, you know, we're an absolute dream team, and yeah, I can't wait to do the next one together.
Excellent. Alysha, over to you.
I want to fucking kill him. I think most people that go into business together as a couple, they'll have very like clear roles, clear responsibilities. And there are some things that we have managed to keep separate, but because we're both still in full-time work and it can all get really intense, rather than going with that approach, we're literally just going with whoever gets to it first. Let's say, for example, if I'm in the middle of writing emails to the architect and going back and forth, if I'm in work for a day, I won't know that Akash has had 2 phone calls with him, like has gone back to all these emails and stuff. So yeah, it can get a little bit confusing when we come back to it. Obviously we are getting through, but yeah, I would love to just glue his lips shut and strangle him.
Genuinely, I've really enjoyed documenting your project. This is your first HMO, and to go to this extent, it seems like your build team are doing amazing. So shout out to your build team as well. The crazy thing is the next episode is the last and final tour. So Alysha, all your interior design is going to come through. Pressure. If you have any questions for Akash and Alysha, as always, their socials will be in the description below. If you want to invest in any of the projects, reach out to them. I'm gonna end the video here, guys. The next video will be the final video. The house will be properly dressed. We'll see right from the beginning to right at the end what it takes for 2 new HMO developers to take a rundown, beaten up property into a brand spanking 7-bed, 6-bed, all en suite HMO. That has been the end of the video. Thank you so much if you've got to the end of this. If you have any comments, feedback, please drop it in the comment section below. But for now, I've been Kelvin.
I've been Akash.
I've been Alysha.